happy Vinayaka Chaturthi. When I saw today's topic, I was reminded for a great quote for Confucius. He told, choose a job you love and you will never have to work a day in your life. Is exactly right. Often when we do things we are passionate about, we lost track on the time. Days will feel like minutes. Uh, Days will fill the minutes actually. So if we work on the field just for the uh, your salary or remuneration, every day is a struggle. So the first hurdle is entering into your dream career is acing the interview. The internet is full of legendary stories about the interview process, the top companies in India. It is important to understand the recruitment process followed by major companies in addition to learning some useful tips to crack the interviews and want to success your career also. Today's webinar is a 60 minutes like a crash course that will useful thought for your career. A quick word about our today's guest speaker, Honorable Mr. Jiasagar sir. He's a founder and a chief executive officer for sixth. 1 second. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So actually, Mr. Vidyasagar sir is the founder and the chief executive officer of Only Success Leadership Academy, which is currently operation in 4 countries. He is a master trainer and best-selling author of Certified NLP. So neuro-linguistic program is a practitioner, and he was over a decade of experience in sales and marketing and management roles in top MNCs across the globe. He's a passionate to in education the youth of the nation and turning them into the leaders of the future. So Vidyasagar is the dynamic and powerful speaker in Asia and specializations in various sectors like entrepreneurship, strategic marketing, and sales motivation. Is a presentation and communication skills or accelerating learning, techniques and behavioral changes, technologies. So this is a very special uh, um, skill for him, and he is a wonderful human being. He is the best-selling author of several books, including one Untold Secret of Success and a BHR. So he was awarded the Indian Achievers Award for the Industrial Excellence by Indian Economic Development and Research Association and Entrepreneurs of the Year Award by Times Group. So I am very happy to sir being with us. Sir, we invite Mr. Vidyasagar sir to start the session, sir.
Thanks, Eril Maran, for this wonderful introduction. And definitely, it's my honor. And I also wish Axis a very, very successful future. And I can see the passion. First thing, when I actually got introduced to Mr. Eril, what I can still recall was the kind of passion what he carries towards his say work towards what he wants to do, because that is something what he just mentioned, right? And if you ask me where from I come, I can connect with that topic a lot, right? Because when you're passionate about doing something, you don't have to work for lifetime. I completely agree with him, because I started, I'm an engineer, then I did my MBA, and some point of time I actually realized what I wanted to do for myself is completely different, into education, into training people. So the moment I decided to do what I really love to do, then things are completely different, right? And thanks for that wonderful note, Eril. And to start with, right, say, assuming good number of you, whoever has connected, have a lot of, say, expectation towards your career, right? You all have your thought, oh, this is what I want in my life, this is what I want to achieve in my life. And wherever you are, maybe some of your freshers out of college, some of you have completed few years of your initial career engagement with some of the organizations. So it's a long path in front of you to go. So, and I can very much understand, see, some of the expectations what you will have out of yourself. And uh, interestingly, my very first book, right, I've authored close to about 7 books. My very first book was on interviews. Why? Because when I started my training career, I've landed up doing training for say facing interviews. If you ask me personally, I should have trained several thousands of students, right, on how to face interviews, right. And at some point of time, when I really wanted to author a book, then somebody suggested, why don't you just write what you were doing for a long time, which is actually about facing interviews. So my very first book, Sweep Through Your Interviews, is actually that. So what I'm going to share today, if I ask you all, because I definitely would like to use the chat window to some extent, so that the session can be like more interactive. I can understand what you have in mind, what you want to ask, though there is a Q&A kind of session towards the end, right? So I will keep this chat alive. So what I would like to hear from each and every one of you is this. So if you need to prepare yourself to land up in the right career, right? Or go to an interview, get a job. So how many set of steps you have to follow? So what are the steps? Even say if you ask me, I thought, okay, just go for an interview, apply somewhere, go for an interview, and you do your best. And if you get it, you go for it, right? Otherwise, you need to keep looking forward for the next opportunity. This is what my perception was. So I would like to listen from you. Maybe you can put it on your chat window, right? You can post it in a chat window. I'm just watching the chat window, right? You can go ahead, type it into it, telling, okay, these are all the steps, or how many steps. My question is this: how many steps you have to follow to get a job, or to get a job what you really like? Right? I mean, getting a job what you really like is, yeah, preparing a quality resume. That's right. I got the first answer. Please give me a lot more answers, so that will make this whole program very interesting. Yeah, Swapnesh has actually posted me telling, preparing a quality resume, communication skills, definitely yes. Prepare yourself. Some more answers. I'm looking forward for more answers to get the job what we like. Confidence, dressing sense, subject knowledge, and skills of communication. Right, because I definitely agree with you. A body language, aptitude test, clearing the aptitude test, prepare communication skills, attitude skills, self practicing with all the aspects, confidence, spontaneity, body skills. Exactly, brilliant. Uh, wonderful to hear all these answers. Your behavior, right? I got a lot of answers from all of you. That's really wonderful of you. Thanks for that wonderful participation. You can keep posting. I'll be watching the chat window, because I love interacting with the audience, with the people who are actually participating, because that makes me understand, okay, this is where we are, right? So this is what I thought. And at some point of time, what I've actually realized is this: when you have to actually go through the process of interview and then land up something what you really like, because what Mr. Edilmaran opened up today was something what I really wanted to touch upon. The moment you land up something what you really love, you don't have to work for lifetime, right? And this opportunity will not come for everybody. If you ask me, just 5% of people get this opportunity in their life. Just 5%, to be honest. So if you ask me what are all the steps, I'm going to quickly share with you what I call it as a see set of 10 steps to sit through your interviews, right? I mean, I'll straight away go into it. There's 10 set of steps, and again I'm going to break them into 4 different parts. Okay, 4 different parts means, number 1 is polish your personality, because many of us tend to think, okay, I want an interview, which means what? I sit and write my resume and send the resume to 100 people, give all to the known people, whom I know, ask a friend, go to the various websites, what you know, like today there are like 100 different websites, right? Push it in all the websites and wait for an interview call. And definitely you will get an interview call someday. There is no doubts on it. There is nothing like somebody has never get a job for lifetime. Not exactly. You will get an interview call, and then you go there, you meet somebody, and if that person is happy about what you are doing, maybe you proceed on to the next level, which they actually give you a job offer. Definitely getting a job offer is a most exciting day in your life. I still can't forget my first day where I was given a job offer, right? It's a mind-blowing experience for any individual, right? And because you feel, oh, I'm worth this much, right? So you get a job offer, and once you get a job offer, you keep going. And unfortunately, what happens is this: after a few years, you never get a chance to think about, am I in the right place, right? Because you start having a lot of commitment in life, and then you keep going, moving forward. You are stuck for lifetime, right? So when it comes to job, when it comes to interview, I actually was wanting to expand the scope. That's why you see it as just not, maybe possibly you can see it as part 3 and part 4, or part 3 is the one which looks like very, very normal, right? Where managing the process of interview, how to convey non-verbally, managing interview related stress. So that is something normally what somebody thinks interview is. But if you really look deeper into it, it's something beyond, right? So the first part is going to be polish your personality. Interview is all about who you are, your personality, right? So which means I'm going to give you some insights on unique selling proposition, right? Where you are unique at, where you are good at, right? And number 2 is your clear goals and visualization. All right. And what is it you want in your life? Are you clear on that? Then you know where you are heading to. And interview is also a process where you think your attitude is so important. I mean, somebody thinks your attitude is very important, your attitude towards job, your attitude towards people. So right attitude is important. And like somebody was mentioning to me, or a good number of you were sharing, your dressing, how you dress, I call it as power dressing. That's how I referred that particular topic in my book. Then interestingly, there is something called as popular interview questions. Because like how you think the interview panel are not like always super experts, right? If you make me sit in an interview, I should have done some thousands of interviews in the past. So we have like standard 4 or 5 questions to cross. Then the questions becomes very specific to every individual. We look into it, what it is, and writing your resume or building your resume. I'm sure a lot of you actually wrote about it. Then it's an interview is a process, right? It's not just you go in and complete. It's not exactly, it's a process. And then what and how you convey non-verbally. Non-verbally means good number of you spoke to me about communication skills, your posture, your body language. I saw all those answers some time back, correct? uh, so keep up your non-verbal verbal communication, something very important. And most important is, you know everything, but I have seen a lot of candidates completely messing up because they don't know how to manage the stress, right? Maybe you're very good when you talk to your friends, very good when you converse with others. The moment you hear the word interview, I mean, you are not yourself, right? You know a lot of things, but you are not able to express about certain things about yourself. So you find it very difficult to express yourself, right? And the magic of living your passion. So as I was just mentioning, and completely with the opening remark of Eril, right, which he was mentioning, how to choose something what you really love. That's the magic of living your passion, right? So these are all the 10 steps. So I'm going to quickly touch upon some of them, but I'll focus a lot on some of them. Okay, fine. So when you say polish your personality, what do you mean by a unique selling proposition? I strongly believe, right? Each and every one of us, if I say, I'm going to ask you a question, be ready. Okay, which means you need to type in fast. I will tell you something. When I say cheetah, what comes to your mind? You know cheetah, right? So what comes to your mind? Come on, faster. Fast. Very good. Very good. Faster. Speed. Some more answers. Run fast. Wild animal. Fast, fast. Speed, speed, speed. Very good. Brilliant. Okay. I really love you guys. Okay. You are there. You are there. Right? Uh, exactly. Cheetah means speed. Cheetah means fast. You got it? I don't have to tell you anything. I just told cheetah. You told this is what it is. Similar to it, I'm going to give you 1 minute time, right? You tell your name. What comes to your mind? You think of. You don't have to. You don't have to write here. You can think of. You tell your name. What comes to your mind? What you are good at? Because many a times I have asked this question in an interview. What you are good at? People are not sure. Maybe I'm good at Java. I'm good at say. I mean, 10 different things and nothing they are clear of, right? Or similar to that, if some of you are coming from say a hardcore mechanical background, right? If I ask you what you are good at, right? I'm more specific to your skill, right? I mean, you need to be very clear of this is where I'm extremely good at, which I'm really good. So the moment where you say I'm good, you have to be really the best, right? You need to be really the good, right? And you, which means you will not keep hopping around here and there. You're very clear what you want of what you want, right? Say, I've seen somebody, maybe I'm pulling, I'm not getting into training field because I know, I mean, I am into it, right? So I may go much deeper into that space. Say, for example, when I meet up with trainers and then I ask them what you are good at, somebody says, I'm extremely good at counseling, right? Then I may ask very specific questions on counseling, right? What they are good at, I want them to be really good at, right? And somebody may say, oh, I'm training. Then training is very large, very wide word. Then they may say, oh, I'm really good at training students. I'm really good at training corporate professionals. I'm really good at training parents. I'm really good at giving a career path for students, right? Like that. I want them to be really specific experts in some area, right? Similar to that, what is it you are good at? That's something very, very important, because one, that gives you a lot of strength from within, and number two, it gives you like the focus, right? This is what, if you're not sure, every job looks as if you can apply for it, right? Every job you can think, oh, why I don't get this job, why should I not get this job, right? And number two is just see very clear goals and objectives. And unfortunately, objectives is something very personal, very specific to you, right? And what do I mean by something which is personal, very specific to you means, I have seen, typically this happens in colleges, right? Where, because today we have the Word, we have those kind of softwares using which you create the resume, where I've seen, okay, I've created my resume, I just forward it to my friend, right? And they start altering everything but not the objective. So which means what my objective is what my friend's objective, right? It makes no sense. So writing an objective is really a process which you need to really think through, right? You need to really take your time to understand what is actually my objective, what is it, because you can't say like, oh, I will go in, I will change this organization, I will drive this organization to greater heights, all those things good, right? But it should also go with a profile of what do you want to do, right? So if you have been hired as a CEO of an organization, then you can talk about, oh, this is the vision I have, and my objective is to make this as a top class organization within 2 years time, 5 years time, whatever, right? But if you're hired at a mid managerial cadre, if you're hired at as an entry level, you need to be very clear of, this is what my career goal is, this is how I will contribute to the organization, right? So that is something, your objectives are something so important, so critical, right? And then you have to ensure you are doing a great job. At least, I'm not sure how many interviewers, panels really read through it so closely, but I read it, right? Because it conveys a lot to me. And believe me, in professional organizations, people give a lot of weightage for the objective what you write, right? It can't be what you copy paste from your friends. It is not allowed. It's not the right way to do it. You need to ensure you have your own objectives, not necessarily it has to be something changing the world, not necessarily. Because you are going for a job, I don't want you to like somebody who can go ahead and change the world tomorrow. Not exactly. The first thing is, are you clear on what you want, right? So be very clear on what you want, and most interestingly, the right attitude, right? So when it comes to right attitude, hope you can see the screen. So these are all the important points. Number one, never get worked up because your friend got a very good offer. Not exactly. That will not mean you will not get it, right? Never the success of one person will prevent others. Always understand that's a nature's law. You can be successful, your friend can be successful, you can even be born more successful. Because when it comes to job, people always think like, oh, my friend got a better offer, not me, should I join here? So many a times even a good offer, so people live it, right? So never compare. That's a very first point. That's what I mean by attitude. Never compare your offer with anybody. Even in organizations, good organizations, they always say, when it comes to your offer, it's completely confidential, right? I will even suggest certain times, right? People get worked up, they go share it with their relatives. Somebody says, oh, what kind of offer is this? Then they get worked out. I mean, parents fine, your brothers, sisters, if you're comfortable, that's fine. But beyond that, I don't see any need for you to going and sharing your offer all across and everybody commenting on it, and you don't feel good about it. And that's one. So never compare your offer with somebody, right? And number two is this: play it like a game, which means it is not the number of companies in this world is fixed. Are you getting it? How many times you can rise up is up to you. It is like a game of a baseball, right? In the baseball, there is no limit on number of balls what you can get. So if you miss one ball, there is always the next ball which is coming. So never lose your heart because I never got my appointment from the company what I really wanted, right? There is a better company waiting for you, correct? So always have this attitude that the next one is the best, and by chance if you're lost, right? And desperation kills, because many a times the moment you become desperate, you lose the job, you never get it. I will brief you what desperation means. When you go for an interview, it's not that you are getting your salary, you are getting your offer, all those things. It's not a one-way thing. In turn, the company is also looking forward for certain things from you, right? So understand that logic. It is a transaction. It's not a one-way thing. So the moment you think, oh, I have to get this somehow, I have to get it, the moment it becomes too desperate, nobody likes to associate, right? And why come many people think, oh, fresh graduates, there are no opportunities. I never agree that, right? Always, I strongly believe when I run an organization, I run a training organization, right? I always believe multiple reasons. Freshers are brilliant in certain aspects, right? They bring in fresh set of thoughts, right? And say what I can possibly hire one person, I can hire four of them. You can actually go ahead and create wonders, right? That passion is far higher. I mean, I can give a list of reasons why. say freshers are really good. Why I have to hire freshers? And limiting beliefs, right? Set of limiting beliefs which stops people. I'm going to share certain very common limiting beliefs, right? Always understand this. The event is never the outcome, right? Event plus response, what it chooses is outcome. The response is what it chooses. The event might have happened. So I'm going to talk to you about this concept of uh, breaking your limiting beliefs, right? Where you break away your limiting beliefs and come across, because good number of times you lose a lot of opportunities only because of the reason, because you think in your mind, oh, I can't get it because whatever, because maybe my language is not good, maybe I didn't study from the right college, right? I didn't get my education from a good school, right? You have like 10 different reasons why you will not get it. Are there reasons like that where you believe I will not get a good job because, yes, you have some reasons? I will share with you um, some of the most common ones which always people share with me. Oh, my institute is not a reputed one. Very common, most common, right? Because my institute is not a reputed one, that's why I will not get it. I am too young. That's another one. I am not qualified enough. My expectation on salary is maybe very high. I'm just a fresh graduate. I've shifted my job very frequently in the past. So these are all, I'm not telling all these things are good, but if you're already there, right, you can't take that into your mind so deep and then get stopped, right? Somewhere, I see some messages. I'll read out few because my communication skill is not good. That is the most common. The most common what I've come across is, oh, because my communication skills are not good, that's why. Studied from a local language, not English, because my medium of communication is not English. And again, understand, English is not a language which is spoken all across the globe, right? Only few countries speak English. English is one of the languages, maybe good or bad. In our country, English is seen as, if you're good in English, people think you're good in everything, right? I'm not here to say, oh, you should not learn the language, you better learn the language, but that can't stop you from getting something very good, right? You don't have to think, oh, because of that I'm not getting a difficulty in communicating with others. Yeah, I'm reading out from the chat window, please. Okay. So some more things you can also post it, so I can understand, okay, where from you are coming. Because as I said, this platform you can feel completely comfortable, because I'm a trainer. I train people, so any of the challenges you can go ahead and say this is what it is. I can understand what it means. As I said, the topmost reason or topmost issue what people think is because I'm not good in communication, right? How to, okay, please tell me how to master in group discussions, right? As an interest, how to overcome the challenges and how, okay, wonderful, right? And definitely I see these set of things which are very common, and that it crosses generations, and these are all the set of challenges which people who go for interviews face for several years. I mean, not the same set of people. I mean, even the next generation faces the same. And how to be confident in GD, how to overcome fear and nervousness, how to improve my English talking skills, technologically outdated, right? Need enough practice. Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks for all those sharings. You guys are really wonderful. You are all out to post a lot of message, right? How to manage tension. Thanks. Need enough practice. It feels embarrassing to initiate communication with the strangers. It takes time to get myself comfortable with someone to talk. Okay, wonderful, right? So if you ask, as I said, the most common thing is communication, and you are not alone. right? I always ask, what is the biggest fear in this world? It's not the snake. It's not anything else. It's actually talking to others, right? So if you're there, you don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be worried. Oh, how will I overcome? You can. You should, right? And you should be able to overcome this particular challenge. And apart from it, I will move back. I will come into this managing your say emotions, all those things. So getting back to where we were, right? Knowing what is it you want is something very very important, because I have other few topics to be covered as part of the 10-step study process, right? I will go into it. This is about your goals, which are very important. Knowing goals gives you sense of direction, right? Helps you avoid wasting time. I'm quickly highlighting certain points and then moving on, right? As I said, you need to have your uniqueness. Uniqueness means you need to be really good at something. Remember, I told you, you need to believe that you are good at it. You have to be passionate. You need to understand your, I call it as USP, because USP is a very popular terminology. Your unique selling proposition. Interview is a process where you sell or where you present yourself. Some of you think, oh, I sell myself, but you're presenting yourself, right? And where you need to ensure others understand you better, right? And avoid projecting soft skills as USP, because you can't say I'm good at helping others. I'm really a nice human being. All those things, that's not something what I meant by say your USP, because we are going to understand that later. Those things are very much expected. You have to have it, but that is something different set of skill sets. Put your best to remind the best. So some of you mentioned about getting outdated, very very important, right? If you say I'm good at it, I'm good at Python, right? You need to be the best. If there is something new in that space, you have to ensure you get trained in it. You need to know this is what it is. Say for example, if you ask me, right, uh, all along, almost for the past 15 years, 16 years, I love going to the stage, talking to people, training them, right? I mean, connecting with them, going and literally asking them questions, all these things. Suddenly, one day, we all have to get on the platform, right? Today, I need to talk to people on the platform. I mean, it's a big shift, big change. See, by chance, if we get stuck with the past, we can't move forward, right? So what is very important, put your best to remind the best. State your USPs clearly and loudly. Your resume must have to speak, this is where I am good at, right? And then USPs can be hybrid, which means it can be more than one. It's not necessary, oh, you have to be good. And if you want to improve your chances of getting more jobs, more opportunities, and if you really want to push yourself hard, you can have more than one skill, right? I mean, I'm fine with that. I get for a same price, I get somebody who's good at multiple areas, right? As an organization, any company will really love it, right? And moving on, I'm going to get into the resume, because this is one of the very very say misunderstood. USP is, somebody is asking me, Kalyan is asking me, what is USP? USP is unique selling proposition, which means where you are unique, where you are really unique, right? I asked you, because by chance we missed something before. I asked you all, what, when I say cheetah, what comes to your mind, right? So every product, if it is unique, it wins. That's right. Correct. So the moment you understand this is where the product is unique, this is where you are unique, you presenting yourself to somebody is so easy. You got it, right? That's something very very important. And let me ask you all, what is a resume? Please answer. What is a resume? What resume can do to you? How many of you have your resumes? Please answer me in your chat windows, please. How many of you have your resumes and what your resume can do? Yeah, it's an information. It's a certificate. Anything else? Someone answers. Yeah, resume is used to interview information about us. It decides our skills. Will you? Okay, I'll ask you one more question. Will it get you jobs? Will resumes get you jobs? Yeah, it tells you who I am. It is an information. It's an introduction. Will resumes get you jobs? I see a lot of brilliant answers. Resume is gate pass for interview. Wow. Okay, information about me, our skills. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, it helps us. Exactly. My resume makes everyone eyebrows move upwards. Wow. Good one. It's a formal document which helps know where we are good at. Mirror image of potential. Okay. Okay. And I will ask you one more question. Can you have different resumes for different jobs? No, sir. Okay. Don't know. No, no. Okay. No, yes. No, no. Don't prefer having different. Okay. I'll answer both because first get the concept of resume very clear. Resume is not meant to get you jobs. It is meant for getting you interviews, right? It helps you to get an interview, nothing beyond it. The moment you get an interview, your resume's job is done, right? You are there already, your resume job is done, and you are already with somebody, and after that it becomes your task to say, go ahead and convey what you want to convey, right? And apart from it, I asked you one more question. um, can you have little different resumes for different jobs? I feel there is really nothing wrong about it. Why? Because as I said, in certain for certain jobs, because resumes are something which always to be updated. You can't give a resume which was created say 1 year back today. It makes no sense, right? Even no interviewer likes. So if you have different flavors of resumes, your basic information will never change, right? Where from you're coming, where you studied, how you studied, all those things will never change. But there is certain information, what you highlighted, what you put it on top, all those things can possibly okay to change. Because even as an interviewer, I love it. I love a candidate who is smart enough to showcase how good he is in certain areas, how good she is in certain areas. So I really love people who are brilliant in showcasing themselves, who are brilliant in telling this is where I'm good at. So it's okay to do it. So some quick points with respect to resumes, right? I mean, is a purpose so can get you jobs. This is something what I was asking. It can't get you jobs. Understand? It can only get you interviews, and understand whoever receiving your resume, they don't have a day to look through your resume, right? Don't think they are going to spend hours together reading your resume. That's not the fact. Say, depending on the size of the company, I may have 100, I may have 100 plus 1,000 resumes in a day coming in, right? And uh, there are HR professionals who go through it, but it's too difficult for them to read through the entire resume. So it is up to you to ensure you highlight the right things. So, as a HR professional, what I do is this: if I have a doubt whether you are good or bad, better I will call you for an interview, right? Or better, at least I will take you to the next step, because it's not good to lose somebody who's good, right? Risk of rejecting a good candidate is high. So risk of calling you for an interview is less. So better I'll move you on to the next level. So always present your resume in such a way that it is easy for the HR professional to understand who you are or what your skills are, right? If you can do that, that's brilliant. And that's in way you are actually helping them in shortlisting you, in identifying the right candidate, right? And I will quickly present you a flow chart which I'm sure you people will like it, you love it, because this is something many people have told. It really was they were able to understand, right? So normally what happens is this: if there is a functional department that they raise the requirement, right? Understand this very clearly. If it is a smaller company, that say if it is a marketing department, if it is say software development in a particular project, right? If it is a smaller company, that particular department handles it directly. If it is a larger company, it goes to a HR department, right? And then they announce it to potential candidate. Today predominantly it happens online, right? You have like 10 different platforms. If the company is really good, there are a lot of people visit their website to understand are there any career opportunities, right? And the potential candidate submits their resume, and the HR will not read your entire resume. Understand this fact very clearly. They don't have the time, right? HR's job is not just recruiting, they have 100 other things to do. So you have to highlight some information very clearly. What I always call it as the certain specific information. And if your specific information matches, you are there in for the next level. Otherwise, that person is not called in for the next level. It's as simple as that. So understand that process. So you don't have to overplay your resume. You don't have to underplay your resume, right? And so understand that is something what you need to have in mind, right? And apart from it, I'm going to move on to certain very common questions which are asked in the interview, right? If I sit in the interview panel, anybody sits in the interview panel, right? Common questions. This will not mean this is everything, but these are all the questions which you'll ask, but at least you can be prepared for it. One of the most common, most of the interview starts with the question, tell me about you. You believe me, so many interviews starts with this question. And unfortunately, many people are not prepared for it. I'm releasing you the question paper. I'm just giving you the question paper. You just have to prepare for it, right? You need to be very clear. And what are your strengths? Many people ask this question, right? And that's why I said you are unique selling proposition. You have to be clear. You need to be like, this is what my strength is. What are your weaknesses? Right? You need to be ready to say, okay, this is where I'm not very great, but this is how I will improve on it, right? And why are you looking for a change if you're already working somewhere, right? And where you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now, you need to be clear on that, right? 5 years from now, what do you want to do? 10 years from now, what do you want to do? And as a working professional, I love to hear from you having some answer which is relevant to your job, right? Because I've seen people who are completely talking irrelevant stuff when this question has been asked. So you need to be very clear on where you want to be 5 to 10 years from now. How long will you work for us? Nobody likes you to say maybe 6 months, 7 months, even if you're not sure, right? No company hires you for a few months. There are companies even love to have you for 5 years, 10 years, right? Depending on the profile of the organization. Some companies are really happy if you say at least 2 years, right? What do you know about our company? It's a very important question. Many people fail here, right? Why? Because when you before walking into an organization, as I said, it's a two-way process. I expect you to know something about what the company do. You can't say like, oh, I'm not sure. And today information is available everywhere, right? I tell you this is what is a company. You can find about the company in no time. It's about the effort what you put in, it's about the interest what you have, and you have to know something. And what are your salary expectations? Again, you can't go blank. You need to be clear of some range at least. If you think, oh, am I quoting too low, am I quoting very high? Or if you can't show your desperation, anything is fine with me, you can't show your desperation, right? You need to have some thought about some answer for this. When can you join us, right? No employer is willing to give like, oh, I want to have a long break, I'll come back. Not exactly. You need to have some time frame, right? And when you feel why you feel you are the right candidate for the job, I mean, crystal clear points. You need to be very clear. Okay, these are all the reasons why I feel I'm extremely good. Rarely you also come across somebody who talks about your hobbies. They ask them what else you do apart from your job. And interestingly, by chance, you say music, right? And if your interviewer loves it, then most likely your job is done, right? Because understand this, unlike what we always expect, interview is a highly emotional process. Mostly unfair decisions are taken, right? That's why big organizations do their best to so eliminate a lot of human emotions from it, right? They bring in a lot of automated process, but still, once when you meet one to one, right, it's very hard to release or take away the human emotions out of the interview process. It's just not possible, right? So understand, say interview is a highly emotional process. It is between human to human thing, right? Even if it is online. So understand and leverage that component, right? By chance, some of your skills apart from your technical skills really liked by the interviewer, believe me, mostly you'll clear the interview, right? Which may be completely even irrelevant to the job, but that's how it is, right? And another very important aspect, a lot of you have actually posted that on the chat window. It's about dressing. How important it is to dress right for the interview. I'm not telling. I'm carefully using the word. You have to dress right, or what I call it as a power dressing. Your dress can't divert the discussions. You are not going for a function. You are not going to celebrate something. You have to look professional. You can't. And other one I have seen, there are people who even have the whatever ear pod kind of stuff, and then walking into the interview, which looks certain times highly unprofessional. Right? You are coming to an interview. I want you to have the 100% attention. Your phones can't ring, right? Those are all part of your presentation, right? You need to ensure you wear something which is professional. I've seen somebody walking, I mean Indian context, right? I've seen somebody walking in to an interview wearing a jean, right? And it's okay in some organizations, but if you are in doubt, never even check it, right? And anything which distracts your conversation, distracts the interview process, is not the right way to dress up yourself. And if you don't dress up well, which means you don't respect that job, period. Got it? If you are stepping into an interview, you need to dress up for it. Correct? You need to ensure, and you have to be very comfortable, right? I am not expecting you, if you're not at all used, you don't have to wear a tie, because many people are, should I wear I mean, I'm talking about men, should I have to wear a tie? Not exactly. If you're not comfortable, it's fine, right? You don't have to wear a suit. If you're not comfortable, it's perfectly fine. And similar to that, women do have certain things where you're very comfortable with. Whatever socially acceptable, it's fine. Like how we have the olden days saying, till the time you have a clean, neat, presentable dressing, you are completely on for it, right? And you have to be very, very comfortable. You don't buy something fresh from a shop and wear it, because you will not be comfortable with a fresh cloth, right? It's not a celebration, as I said, right? And I mean, fresh cloth, what I mean is a new cloth, okay? So dressing is so important for you to ensure you perform your best. You have to be completely comfortable. You need to be completely presentable. And for the job, you have to show your respect. Should you have to wear shoes? I will say definitely, right? Because I've seen people, I mean, not dressing up to wearing a shoes and coming to an interview. Definitely, because in Indian society, that's a expected, say, protocol when you go for a job, right? And similar to that, when you are gearing up to say go online and attend interviews nowadays, ensure your environment is comfortable, you have enough light on the face, you are presentable, right? All those set of basic things. When you go online, you have to be clear, and your videos must be on. There is no choice of whether can I shut down the video. Not exactly. You need to ensure your videos are on, and then you are comfortable with that, right? And apart from it, it is also this. I'll be quickly say closing up the discussion after see going into the last part of this program, which is about say like what all of you have asked, managing the process, right? Or communication, group discussion, everything. Before we actually close, or before we call it as a session, because I'll be taking up questions, no worries, right? So you have to do one thing. When it comes to the communication, right, you need to understand there are three components. What are all those three components? Number one is your physiology or body language. Your body language is very important. How you use your body is so important, right? Even when you go for a group discussion, when you are sitting for an interview, when you are walking in, the way you're opening the door, you are sitting in, all those things. When you're attending on a video conference, your body posture is something very, very important, right? And then the second one is your tone of voice, how you speak. I have seen candidates who you have to really ask them a lot of times, right? So your tone of voice is something very, very important, how you use your tone. And then comes what you say, right? Many of you were concerned about your language skills, but if your physiology and your tone of voice are extremely good, then obviously, one, your language can be handled relatively better. Definitely, you need more practice. You need to improve your English skills, all those things. But good number of times, I will ask those people. I'm going to ask you one very important, life-changing question. The question is this: people whoever said I'm not good in language, I'm not because I didn't study English, whatever. I'll ask you this question. The question is this: if I give you a paper, white paper, and ask you to write a one page in English about yourself, how comfortable you will be? Can you do it? Yes, very comfortable. See the answers? Very comfortable. Yes. And people who said I'm not good in language, I am also, because I have always asked this question to all those people who ever said I'm not good in English. 95% of people actually answered me, yes, I can write it, but I can't speak. Which means what? The issue is not your language. Are you understanding? This is why I call this as a life-changing question. Your issue is not your English language. Your issue is your body language. Your issue is your tone of voice. Your issue is your mind. Are you getting it? You first have to believe it is possible for you. Second, you need to learn how to use your body language. When you talk in your native language, maybe your body language is far better. When you talk in English, you feel a little constrained. Your body language has to be better. Your tone of voice have to be better. So if you ask, so the truth or the fact is this: when it comes to the impact what the communication creates, 55% is because of their body language. Understand this, please. 38% is your tone of voice. How you speak. I can speak the same thing with lot of certainty. You understand how my throat is right now, right? Or I can speak the same thing where I'm not like so much certain. I'm using my tonality in different ways so that I convey certain things very clearly to you, right? That forms almost 55 plus 38 percentage, which means your words, your language, all those things is about 7%. This will not mean language is not important. Understand it very clearly. This means when it comes to the impact, because for interview, it's I'm not choosing somebody for writing English novels, English fictions. Understand that, right? I want somebody who can understand the language. That's it, right? If you can create an impact, I really love to hire you. Please understand that, right? So I really want you to be part of my organization if you can create an impact. So what you have to be bothered about is not language, it is how you carry yourself. That actually is the most important than even your language. That actually tells you how what all the things you can possibly achieve in an interview, right? So with this, I'll be recalling or calling back before closing this as a session, calling back all the 10 steps, right? Because this is a book what I've actually done. And interestingly, I'm going to release this particular book as a podcast, right? In Spotify, in Google, in Apple, all those Play stores. This entire book content will be available, and for students, I'm going to make it free of cost. Right? There will not be any charges once it is completely available online. Right? I'll definitely through whoever was part of this session, I will share it with you. You can listen to that. I mean, chapter wise, I'll be reading out each and every chapter, right? And you can listen, just plug it in. You can put it on your phone and you can listen, right? It's anytime. So that's something what I'm actually doing it. That's one of my current projects which I've just started, right? So these are all the various parts. One is polish your personality, right? This is something what I shared with you. How to be ready for your interview, prepare to succeed. That's the second part. The third part is perform to succeed, right? And then the fourth part, this I will also take Edil's thought. He was talking about Confucius as one of his in his quote, right? You choose what you really love to do. That's passion. Then you don't have to work, right? You lifetime you don't have to work. You will never see your watch. You never see your, because when I entered training from that day onwards, really, I never use a watch, really, because I have to keep reminding. I actually have somebody to remind me on the time when I'm on stage, right? Because it's how it is. So leave your passion, and then you'll be very successful. Once again, I thank Eril Maran for this wonderful opportunity to interact with all of you. Thanks, Eril, for this great opportunity. Thank Access for this wonderful platform. Thanks all of you for a patient listening. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for a wonderful presentation. And can we go for question and session, sir?
Definitely. Please do.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Kalyan Ponde asking the first question. Respected
Yes.
sir, to get the job online interviews, chances are major or minor? Please guide me.
See, to be honest, this is this is an opportunity, right? So what I see is, see, if you this online platform has opened up tremendous opportunity for all of you people. Why? Because somebody sitting in any part of the country can pull you to interview in no time. Understand this fact very clearly, right? And you just have to really know certain basic etiquettes of online platforms. Then you are there for it. As I said, you need to ensure your audio video is little better, little good, right? You have enough light on your face, and you become comfortable with the platform whatever they are going to use. I mean, I'm sure most of the companies use any of the standard platforms. So you be comfortable to express yourself. I strongly feel this is a boon for the job industry, right? And one thing is, previously you used to think in a very limited way, where maybe companies around you, company which you know you, what is here, even companies used to think that way, right? say a company which is in say Bangalore, right? They want to choose people around that area, right? Then they think, how will I have them here? Then the cost of bringing somebody from a different place is higher, or some company in Mumbai, some company in Delhi. So all those restrictions are broken today, right? Many companies think completely different. So if you ask, because of the current situation, the number of opportunities have gone up tremendously. So leverage it very well. Yes. Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you, sir. Yeah,
Yes.
thank you, sir. And Mr. Pawan Kumar asking, sir, how introvert estimate confidence by body language? Give example.
Okay. If you ask, number one is this. Uh, See how, as an interviewer, how I understand your body language, right from the time even you open your door, conveys who you are and what you are, right? And whether you know it or not, I estimate you, I understand you from all. It's not something what I really want to do, but everybody do it, right? The moment you walk in, so when you have to walk in, you need to have some basic learnings. You need to knock the door. Your tone of voice can't be scared. I have seen a lot of candidates who are really scared to ask, "Can I please come in?" Right? Not exactly. You need to really be clear. Can I please come in? Right? And when you walk in, you can't just right away go ahead sit, because I'm not sure, is it more of Indian culture? Still you are expected to request them, or most likely they will tell you please sit down, then you take the seat, or you request them, can I please sit down? And when you're being asked to sit down, you need to say thanks. Interview has not yet started, understand? Interview has not yet started. So before that, half of the thing you have already conveyed. And way you sit down, you have to ensure both your feet is flat on the floor, right? Because that gives you a lot of comfort when you actually sit. And apart from it, your shoulders must be straight and up, right? And you should be able to see the person who are taking the interview straight on the eyes. I've seen many of the people who never even look at the interviewer straight on the eyes, right? So it's not will not mean you need to keep looking at them, but you should be able to glance at their eyes comfortably, right? Because that conveys to me, yes, you are confident, you are sure of what you are, and your shoulders must be up, right? Your shoulders must be straight up, and maybe you can keep a hand on the table, you can keep a hand like this, right? And wherever you are comfortable with, correct? But till that time, certain things are conveyed very strongly, right? I have a lot of perceptions about you. As I said, interview is not the best way to hire people, but that is the most common way of hiring people. Understand? Many of you may think, oh, I really did well, but I don't know why I was not selected, right? Or somebody may think, oh, I actually did well only, okay only, but I got selected. All these things are very common, because somewhere I like that person, right? Understand, that thing is never going to change, right? And there is no point of time you can take out emotions out of an interview. It's not possible.
Okay. So a very nice answer, sir. And Mr. Saran asking, sir, which things are speaks in self-intro, sir?
Which, can you please come again?
Things, which things are speak in self-intro?
Which, what are all the things you should speak when you have to introduce yourself? Is that what?
Yes, yes. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Say, as I said, one of the most common question, right? Maybe it also gives a breather for the interviewer. I used to think, right? When somebody comes in, you suddenly you keep meeting people. So the first easiest question to ask is, "Tell me about yourself." So which means I can listen to you, right? And as I said, more than the answer, again, the clarity of thought, your structured way of answering is very important. So unless otherwise, it's very worth mentioning. You don't have to start your school days. It looks like a long story, because unless otherwise somebody was posting here, right? I read your resume, your eyebrows goes up, right? So unless otherwise your school is something like that, you don't have to talk about it. So maybe you can start from your, oh, I did my undergraduation here. If you have any highlights on your undergraduation, say I finished my undergraduation with whatever, I got my gold medal, I got the second rank in the entire university, right? Whatever, you can highlight it. And see something which is relevant to the job, you can actually talk about it. If you have something, if you assume you are a student and then you have gone in for some interview where in a related space you have done your project, then definitely you can highlight it. You don't have to brief the entire project, because what you are given is about 1.5 to 2 minutes, not beyond that. You don't have to tell a long story, because understand this, you talk more, most likely you will not crack the interview. Are you getting it? It's a simple rule. If both interviewer and you talk, there is a higher possibility that you will crack the interview. If the interviewer talks a lot, most likely you crack the interview. That those are my simple steps. Got it? Which means they really like you, they really want to talk to you, kind of thing. So you clear the interview. And
Oh,
you keep talking a lot, most likely you don't clear it.
okay. Okay. Good, sir. Good. So, and Mr. Swapna is asking, sir, which resume is considered more valuable, traditional one or the new format available now? And
Which
have a well-dressed beard is considered as a negative point in dressing. We
okay,
have two
there are two
questions actually.
parts to it.
Yeah.
First part is which.
Um, which resume is considered more valuable, traditional one, or a new format is available now?
Okay, I'm not really sure what you mean by a traditional one and a new format, right? A resume has to be really well formatted, right? And today word kind of softwares gives you some standard formats, right? Simple thing maybe to use it, because never use uh, uh, any design kind of stuff on your resume, right? Use very standard nice fonts, that is more important. And present the required information on top, right? Which is job related information, which means, okay, some of you write a job objective, it's good. Your objective, it's very good. You can do it. If you're not clear of your objective, you can even leave it. That's fine. Never take objective from somewhere and put it up. It's not a good practice at all, right? And then if you have an experience, you start from the latest experience of yours. That's where the most interest is. And then it will go in the reverse chronological order, right? Your designation, your highlights of what you did in that particular job, right? And then you go all across, and then you will be talking about some information, because I have seen people giving about their passport number. I mean, you need to think what for they need your passport number. Correct? I've seen resumes where they have, I have a passport, this is my number, all those things. See, definitely your marital status may mean something, because for a job that is important. Just use your common sense while you are writing your resume, right? And I'm not sure what do you mean by a modern format. If you feel that looks nicer, you can. A resume has to look professional. That's a basic requirement. And there is nothing like a traditional and modern format as far as I have come across. But if you feel there is a modern format looks better for you, please go ahead. And what was the other question?
Other question is, once again. Okay. Other question is, uh, okay. How we are dressed beard is considered as a negative point in dressing.
Not exactly till the time you have it. Maybe you can think of Sundar Pichai, right? So not
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
Maybe anything which is, I'm not sure, anything which is too religious, better to avoid it, because as I said, I'm not sure in what context, because I have seen some candidates who express a lot about the religion in an interview. because as he said, it's an emotional process, right? So somebody may like it, somebody may not like it. I mean, that should not be a showstopper when you go for an interview, but I don't think uh, having a beard is a showstopper for an interview. I don't think so.
Okay. Thank you, sir. And Mr. Aravind Prasanna asking,
Yeah.
sir, beginning of answering the panel questions, if I see them, I forget it what I want to say. How I overcome it? What he asking? If I start the answering the question, if I forget the answer, what I need to do?
Okay, do understand the person who is sitting on the other side, or also somebody who has gone through the interview in the past, right? It's not that on day one they are sitting on the other side and interviewing you. They are also have gone through the same process like you and me, right? I have attended interviews good number of times in the initial days of my career, so they do understand when you come for an interview, there'll be some stress, there'll be some fear, and in fact, they like it. Reason being, you show a lot of respect for the job, right? Somebody who's so casual, so careless, then I don't want to hire them, right? So that is fine, but you can't sustain through the entire interview because that stops you from expressing yourself. So as I said, some of the simple changes in your body language will help you to overcome it. So your feet flat on the floor, and when you are answering the first question, little take the time. Even if they know you have the fear, that is completely fine, very normal. Understand the interviewers can appreciate it, can know it. But if you continue having it, then it is not good, primarily because you can't express yourself. But it's okay to acknowledge the fear rather than acting as if you don't have any fear, right? So that's what is liked in an interview. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. You will definitely overcome it. And at some point of time, your comfort will set in, right? Then you will start expressing yourself better.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Uh, Ms. Aishwarya Sri asking, what should be my face expression? When I kept a smile on my face, it ended up like smuggling.
No, very true. I mean, as I said, be yourself, right? And just be yourself. Say, some point of time, the interview must have to turn into a discussion rather than like somebody is keep asking you questions. Never think interview is a place where you'll be grilled. If you have that mindset, then it's too difficult for you to crack an interview, right? That's not a, you are not, they're not like, it's not an inquiry which is happening, right? Have that mindset. It is, I am in the process of finding out somebody who is good. That's it, right? And do the best to be yourself. That's what you are, right? And no employee in an organization is perfectly fine, right? I mean, they always have their areas of improvement. Every organization know it. Every individual, every employee has to improve, right? That's why organizations do have continuous ways to improve the employees. Why there is continuous training for employees? Because they have to keep improving, correct? So you are not expected to be like good at everything when you walk into an organization. So just be yourself. So you don't have to keep smiling because it is an interview, because you don't do that normally, right? So just be yourself.
Okay. Good, sir. Good. And Mr. Pavan Kumar asking,
Yeah.
in one interview, questions were asked like that: how many steps are there before room, and what they want to check. I didn't understand. Can you please tell me what they expected?
Okay, I'm not really sure what kind of interview that.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
because even I have only read it, right, where a smart candidate answered, oh, the same number of steps which I'll be taking while going back, right? That is something somebody has answered. So I'm not sure what kind of interview was that. Maybe that there are certain interviews conducted to check your what they call it as your lateral thinking, right? Which means when something radically asked, how you react to it, right? So typically, I've seen in civil service interviews, they have specific objectives to ask you lateral thinking questions, right? Maybe you can see in some of the magazines which is run only for cracking the civil service interviews. Civil service is all over IAS, IPS interviews, right? Where they ask these kind of questions. But normal job interviews is really rare. If some organization is following it, you just have to be little playful, little thoughtful, and give something interesting. Right? There is no right or wrong answers for all these things. It is just to corner you with something and make you think. Right? So it's that. Like how I said, I think I've come across this somewhere, and the candidate who cracked it actually told, yeah, I'll be taking the same number of steps what I'll be taking while going back, right? So it's definitely
Okay.
these things makes you think a lot.
Okay. And Pritika asking, which resume speaks with HR? And as a company, what are the first preference they look?
Say the HR task is very clear, right? For HR, it is a target. Remember that. If I am working in a HR department, I have a target to recruit 4 people, 5 people. My boss is going to ask me every day, have you hired the 4 people? What I asked, that other department will be keep on asking me. I want that 4 people. We are already struggling. I mean, nobody is able to do this task and all those things. So they want to hire 4 or 5 candidates very quickly. Assume, right? So what I'll be looking forward as an HR is, I have a job requirement, what they normally call it as a JD, right? Or a job description, right? And if the resume has the similar set of words as the job description, if there is a match, then I'll call you for an interview, right? And the job description is the one which appears in all the job posting. How to know the job description? That's what appears in all your call. Say you go into any of the job portals and then apply for it. They will tell this is the job for which we are hiring, right? And if that suits your resume suits, they will definitely call you for an interview, because HR job is to meet you, right? And uh, as I said, it is not a favor to anybody. They are not doing a favor by giving a job, or you are not doing a favor by taking up a job, right? It's both ways, right? I need an employee, and you need a job, so that's perfectly fine. Always have that mindset. Never think it's a favor done to you. Never think you are doing a favor to anybody.
Okay. Okay. Great, sir. Great answer. Mr. Sriram asking, how would you please say how we can express our strength and weakness? Give an example, sir.
Say, as I said, right? If I will avoid giving your soft skills as a strength, as expressed, because soft skills are understood. You can't go ahead and say I'm very good at communication skills. I'm very good at handling people. So all those things have to be experienced in the interview, right? Maybe what you need to highlight is with respect to the job where you are good at. That's what I want to hear, right? What I'll be really loving to hear from you is very specific to the job where you're good at. If you can express it, say, are you confident? Are you good at this? Are you good at all those soft skills? I can understand by seeing you. That's why we are calling you, talking to you, right? And see, when I talk to you about a weakness, right? See, you can't say, I don't have any weakness. I'm not sure what my weaknesses are. There are times I have seen somebody answering it very smartly. There are certain times I really can't get back home till the time I finish my job. Then you are like, what? Is it a weakness or good for the company? Right? I mean, it has to be true. You can't say like fake something because that shows up. Right? It has to, you need to really think what is certain times also not good for you, and is that a weakness, right? And see, I have come across certain people telling even late in the night, I tend to ensure if there is any pending work, I have to finish it, otherwise I don't get a good sleep. I was like, what? Oh, I need an employee like that. Correct, you understand? So there are people who even turn, or what they call it as a weakness becomes a strength for the organization, becomes a something what the organization like. You have to keep thinking certain things which is really true for you, because understand, interview, you fake anything in no time, I can understand, right? You just be yourself. That is the best way to be in an interview. You don't have to fake anything.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
So thank you, sir. Sir, did you think passion and purpose are needed to get success in life?
uh, yes, definitely sure. And just to extend further with what Yeril was asking, and I'm sure why he's asking this question, right? Unfortunately or fortunately, very less people have this opportunity in the life to do what they really love, right? It's a sad story of human life, because as I said initially, when the career starts, people are very desperate to just get a job, right? And once you get a job, you get into it so deeper, you can never come out of it, right? I mean, 5 years becomes 10 years, 10 years becomes 20 years, and beyond a point of time, you become an expert in that area. You don't feel like shifting out of it and do what you love. And that's why most of the people say, once I retire, I will do this, right? So they never get the opportunity to do what they really love. And uh, that, I will say, most of the time is a sad story of human life. And only less than 5% of people can actually do really what they love, right? And that's why in the initial days, yes, you have to get a job. I'm not denying it. Socially, that's very important. For family, it's very important. But some point of time, you think a lot and find out whether you can choose something what you really love to do, which means you don't have to work for lifetime, right? Every day is fun. Every day, because you ask me to talk to people, train people, I never say no, right? Only constraint is the time. How many people I can meet is, as I complete this session, I'm logging into one more session. By about 7:30, my next session starts, right? So you ask me to do sessions, I'm perfectly fine, right? Why? Because I love training. I love interacting with people, making them think different. Because some point of time, I realized that's what I love, right? So similar to that, uh, at any point of time, as you move forward in your career, you get the opportunity to do what you love, which will make definitely sense for your career. Never leave it. Ensure you follow your passion, follow your heart. You'll be really successful in life.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Right, very nice answer, actually.
Yeah.
We have time, sir, because a lot of questions are asking again and again.
Yeah, maybe we can take few more questions,
Okay, thank you, thank you.
2, 3 questions more.
Okay, okay. Important question. Everybody asking this question again and again. The question is, Mr. Kalyan Pandey asking, and some other guys also asking. Sir, going for interview, salary asking, what kind of, if you're asking the salary point, how we can answer, and salary expectation asking question, how we can answer, expecting that much salary which you will decide. So like that they are asking.
Okay. I mean, this is definitely a little sensitive on both the ends, right? And one thing is, you need to be certain in your tone of voice. You can't be like very uncertain, or will I really get it or something. And to a greater extent, you know this is what is the standard which that company is offering. You need to do a bit of a back end work, research work. If by chance, if any of your friends are there, understand certain things about it, but get some idea and give a range. Never say anything is fine, I'm not sure, as per industry standards and all those stuff. It's all very vague answers. You can always say, and uh, HR loves the word CTC, right? Cost to the company, right? You need to be very clear and understand what do you mean by cost to the company, right? A cost to the company includes multiple heads, right? It's actually what you take it from the company. Then there is a provident fund component. Then there may be if depending on your scale, it can be a employee state insurance, which is ESI kind of component. And there are multiple things. Certain companies may provide insurance, whatever it is, right? So the HR allows the terminology CTC because what they are bothered about is only that, right? So you slowly have to talk that language. So this is the CTC what I'm looking at, right? Or this is the cost to the company what I'm looking at. Or if you think you may commit a mistake or you may ask for something lower, you give a range, right? Most of the company understands that, respects that, and you give a range. Maybe I'm looking for a CTC of somewhere between this to this, but it can't be like very large range. It can be a range which you know it's something within which you will be comfortable, and company can also stretch here and there. And normally, if you have a job before, definitely that becomes a benchmark, right?
Okay, great, sir, great. And some more guys asking, sir, which resume format is best to use? Chronicle, functional, mixed, or CV?
And as I said, don't get carried away too much by the format of the resume. See it from the other person's perspective, right? Primarily, who is going to run through your resume very closely is the HR guys, right? And what must be there in the resume is primarily, if you can, if what is there in the job description is there in your resume. I mean, I don't mean take it from the job description. You check your resume and then job description. If there are many common terms, which means most likely your resume will be chosen, right? And don't get carried away by, oh, this format is good, that format is good. Not exactly. That's why I was talking about the purpose of resume. It has to get you a job interview, not beyond that. It will not get you jobs. Understand that. Just because the resume is so nice, I will never hire a person, right? It's not going to happen. I'm sure you will understand that. It's nothing. It's something else. So because I'm seeing a lot of questions on the format of the resume. Format of the resume is it is a presentation of your job profile. I mean, all your previous job profiles. If you're a fresher, maybe what is relevant in your education, which is relevant to the job. So highlight it. Maybe your project, if it is relevant, highlight it, and then you talk about yourself. Maybe you are a little about your personal things, right? And then you close your resume. That's it. And don't give a single sheet. That's very important, right? At least run it for about 1.5 pages or 2.5 pages. Typically, that's what I like. Either 1.5 or 2.5, not exactly two. One is completely no, because it looks like a single sheet. It looks as if you don't have anything to say. Two looks like tailor-made, right? Exactly to fit into 2 pages. So either run it for 1.5. If you have a lot to say, it's 2.5, or 1 and 3/4 is fine.
Okay, okay. So thank you, sir. On one important last question, actually. So last 2 months we are running this session. So everybody have a question about. So what is the future of engineering jobs and how is possible? Because after the pandemic situation, a lot of companies are closed, a lot of layoff are going. But before also we have a lot of threatening of job opportunity for freshers. As a fresher, what are the basic skills they want to develop, and what are the opportunities in future?
Wonderful. Good one, because see this, you need to understand, this pandemic has changed the job scene completely. I completely agree with you. Let us not deny the fact, oh, things are the same. But one thing what you need to rethink is the number of opportunities are not going to come down. The kind of opportunities may change, but number of opportunities are going to be the same, or it's going to increase a lot. Right? Why? Because I'm not sure what is the background from which you are coming. If you see typically manufacturing, uh, I mean, nothing is going to come down because it is a phase. We are going to get used to the new normal, right? And maybe there is a little slowdown in certain industries, but not all industries. But things will resume back over a period of time, and you need to see little in a longer term, right? Maybe don't see, oh, next 3 months what will happen, next 6 months what will happen. You need to look at like next 2 years what will happen, next 5 years what will happen. Then definitely India is an exciting story, because in 2030 we will have the youngest manpower in the entire world, right? So that's going to be phenomenal strength for the country, and that's why the growth potential is going to be great. Only thing what you need to be aware of, whatever you thought was the opportunity may change, right? You have to be really clear on it, and you need to become a virtual individual, right? Not only physical individual, you also have to become a virtual individual. You need to start believing in the power of technology, whichever field you are in, whichever industry you are in. Those are all the changes which we got in. You need to start believing technology is going to be a big tool for us to make things happen, right? And you don't have to be super expert in technology, but you have to firmly believe in the power of technology, right? And job profiles will change, and managerial cadres or managerial capability requirements will change. A manager should be able to get the job done remotely. The managers who believe I sit and actually make them do it, I sit with them and communicate, they can't sustain, right? A manager who feels wherever my team is, right, I can still motivate them, I can still make them do it, I can still communicate with them, and I have 100 ways of doing it. They are the one who are going to be the winners, right? And believe me, the opportunities have no way come down. In fact, you will see a lot of newer things coming up. So gear up for it. And as I said, your geography is not a constraint anymore, right? You think of many people, you may not be comfortable taking up job in some places in the country, but today it's no more the same, right? And that's going to be the new normal. So which means the entire country is open for you for taking up jobs. Understand that.
Yeah. So very inspirational, sir. Really, it's a good thought and a good information for students actually. So I think we are at the end of the session. Uh, so thank you so much, sir. Was a great session for every job seekers and a career aspirant out there. I hope our participants use their insight to sweep the interviews and get the place in their dream companies. We appreciate that time taken to inspire our audience. So thank you so much for valuable time, and thank you so much for valuable inputs also.
Thanks a lot, Yeril. Thanks for this wonderful opportunity. And also, I thank all of you who are patiently listening through the entire session. Good to connect with you all. As I said, once the entire audio lesson of the book is ready, I can definitely share it with you through Mr. to all of you. And apart from it, you can also visit my site vidyashankarguru.com. Right, I can. I'll be posting good number of videos, kind of thing. You can watch it. So thanks a lot. Thanks each and every one of you for this wonderful session. Thanks all of you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. And one more thing, lot of questions of people asking again and again. So we have one more program for Ask Me. The program name is Ask Me. So who are the questions from the expert? We get the answer from the experts actually. So I think this kind of question I can collect. I can send to you. So definitely we have one more online session. Just you can ask, just answer the question for students. It will be comfortable. It will be more useful to our students also, I think.
Definitely, definitely.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much your time and support. So, guys, we are very happy to the today's session. So, I think the next session is upcoming days. We think second part of Mr. Innovation on how to create the better tomorrow, Mr. Muthu Panniselvam, and he is from Australia. He giving the second